As delegates from all over the galaxy sat down, the Galaxy Summit Hall was a hive of activity. Various colossal entities, some sleek, others clad in scale armor or glistening exoskeletons, came together in an exhibition of extraterrestrial might and technical prowess. Amidst these legendary species, humanity's ambassadors endured the silent glares and contemptuous looks directed at them. The enormous hierarchy of humanity was young and undervalued in the galaxy's civilizations, and it was regarded as rudimentary in both thought and ability. But the human diplomats remained composed, watching their faces rather than responding to them. Unintelligible, an extraterrestrial diplomat, a tall creature from the CLA Dominion, whose scales gleamed in the rose, used harsh, menacing patterns and a tone of voice that seemed almost practiced. He addressed the summit, hurling a barb with a thin veil at the people he mentioned. He spoke of the significance of solidarity among the civilized races, emphasizing the obligations they had as the guardians and arbiters of peace. Duty, he suggested, existed outside of Earth's. Meanwhile, the audience nodded, whispered, and occasionally laughed in response, throwing salt aimed at humanity's expense. It was a trial and an initiation, intended to measure Earth's representatives, possibly hoping to provoke a reaction, or outburst that would validate their perception. In keeping with his primate demeanor, the chief human ambassador leaned forward and listened to each phrase of the CLA speaker. His words floated off him with no indication of hurt or rage, just someone's concentrated focus. The observing aliens were perplexed by this restraint, especially since humanity had already been put to the test, subtly mocked to determine its limits. Other species had failed, prompted to make defensive remarks or pathetic defenses. But these people stayed mute and unwavering, providing no fuel for the fire. Rose, an extraterrestrial from the Durkee, was well known for their tremendous intelligence and a track record of developing instruments that gauge the boundaries of time itself. He spoke, his words masking mockery under the pretense of curiosity. He asked if Earth had succeeded in surpassing the speed of light, albeit with exaggerated layman's terms, as though to make the inquiry easier for the others to understand. His voice was brimming with skepticism. Immediately, a wave of mildly suppressed laughter swept through the room, but it was obvious that they were all leaning in to wait for humanity's response. The diplomat, a seasoned tactician and expert in the art of silence, just grinned and maintained a composed expression. He replied with a kind but perplexing remark regarding humanity's ongoing advancement in many fields. He neither acknowledged nor denied anything, but there was something in his voice that gave some aliens the impression that they were hiding something, or perhaps they were just out of their depth. The summit continued with a number of declarations, performances, and subtly offensive remarks aimed at humanity. The most evolved species showcased their latest technical innovations, displaying fleets of ships and other technological marvels. Each new discovery revealed disguised spacecraft, pulsating energy, shields, and weaponry that could break down ships at the molecular level. These displays were given with the underlying presumption that humanity would never be able to comprehend, much less duplicate such feats. Whenever the humans observed, their faces were concealed in focused indifference, as if they were taking in everything in detail without revealing anything. The aliens became more bold as the day went on. Some started openly arguing among themselves, in their jabs, questioning if Earth was even worth the trouble of joining the Galactic Alliance. One ambassador jokingly said that people would prefer visitors taking in the galaxy's beauties without making any significant contributions. The auditorium burst into laughter, and some extraterrestrials even advocated for the galactic community to lead humanity by providing their superior safety, suggesting that under the influence of these advanced creatures, the human race would rule Earth. The human diplomat remained unflappable, handling every snub and insult with the same composure and perseverance. This started to cause the aliens discomfort, which they found difficult to comprehend. Some of the more perceptive extraterrestrial leaders observed the calm human manner, noticing something odd in their quiet, defiant composure that didn't align with their mental picture of the gullible species. However, they disregarded it as strange, possibly a cultural peculiarity of this smaller species. As the session brought a particularly arrogant alien leader, a massive figure with a flowing robe of shimmering fibers, he proclaimed that the demonstration the following day would be the last thorough display of power and technology. At the summit's conclusion, his eyes lingered on the human diplomats, causing the audience to chuckle a little more. The humans gave a small, quite imperceptible nod in return, seeing in their minds the plan that had been painstakingly developed. Long before the summit, the humans departed the summit that evening without flinching, whispering and laughing about what humanity had in store for them. The mighty elite continents of the galaxy followed them out of the hall, still laughing at Earth, content in their premises, unaware of the reality. The next day, the vast hall was alive with aliens from all civilizations, whispering to one another with excited anticipation. Their glances turned towards the human delegation, now seated beneath an even thicker cloud of scrutiny. They had different expectations for today, thinking that humanity would be forced to disclose something to shatter their presumed inferiority. The Durkee, known for his cerebral precision, had made an open challenge to Earth, speaking to the entire summit. After a dramatic pause, he asked the human delegation to present any evidence of technology that might rival the splendor displayed by the dominant species. The species in his tone carried a thinly veiled invitation for humanity to try. The challenge, designed to expose humanity's limitations beneath the pretense of potential, generated applause in the hall. This was the moment, as extraterrestrial leaders from strong empires nodded in agreement. They had planned for an open test to see if they could provoke humanity into embracing their position, or better still, disgrace them by making an attempt at something far beyond their capabilities. A pause lingered as the human diplomat addressed, the crowd with attentive eyes, showing no signs of discomfort. He acknowledged Earth's blessings and offered to show his appreciation by confirming his tone without giving anything away. His reaction was measured. His cool acceptance of the challenge had the audience spellbound. The representatives from other countries looked at each other politely, without the defensive bluster they had hoped to witness. Others were captivated by his response and whispered amongst themselves. The diplomat's request was a formality. They expected a humorous moment, a display of humanity's meager technology. When the summit's regular operations resumed, the humans requested a 1-hour diplomatic delay to prepare for the event. Some saw this as an indication of humanity's lack of preparedness, while others perceived a peculiar, serene assurance in the humans, a peaceful confidence that contrasted with their presumed frailty. The delay only increased the aliens' anticipation. As the clock ticked toward the resumption of the summit, there were reports of minor changes in the galaxy's outer systems. Messages blocked, private channels activated. On the outskirts, warships were seen moving with an almost unheard-of stealth, sliding past even the most sophisticated detection systems. Unease rippled through the alien ranks. The human diplomat gestured quietly, and almost immediately, the enigmatic fleet that had secretly approached revealed itself. The ships were sleek and elegant, unlike anything the crew had ever seen in the vastness of space. They absorbed and refracted light so that, even as they became visible, they appeared to move and disappear. The audience gasped in astonishment as the ships contained an energy technology that seemed to merge and ripple throughout their metal skin. The human diplomat explained that these spacecraft were merely a sample of Earth's recent developments, a defensive fleet constructed with respect for others and self-preservation in mind. His tone was serene, but the fleet's very existence spoke for itself. Earth wasn't here to rule, but they weren't supposed to be either. The ease with which these ships had evaded detection shocked the aliens, who had previously mocked Earth for its archaic practices. These ships had remained hidden until their Abrupt unveiling, revealing an advanced level of technology that none of their scientists had perfected. The summit's atmosphere shifted as the realization dawned that humanity's technological advancements were far greater than they had ever anticipated. They were used to their unquestioned authority and were now in a condition of susceptibility. The understanding that humanity may sneak into even the galaxy's greatest entrenched territories was a sobering discovery. It made them reevaluate, not only how they perceive Earth, but also how secure they feel about the once solid and predictable galactic order. What once appeared stable now seemed dangerously fluid. Earth was no longer just a summit attendee, but a renowned and possibly even feared human diplomat. His speech ended with a straightforward declaration of Earth's intention to live in peace and form alliances. His comments were carefully chosen, based on mutual respect rather than force, removing any possibility of misunderstanding. Yet they carried an underlying warning. Earth had not come to confront or control, but it would not tolerate rudeness or attempts to thwart its advancement. Unquestionably, human confidence pervaded the hall and had an impact on every delegate, something that words alone could not achieve. As the summit adjourned for the day, conversations swarmed through the air. Yet there was a new tension. Some foreign leaders withdrew to private rooms, engaging in hushed discussions to decide whether to come to Earth as allies or prepare for a possible adversary, especially those who had publicly mocked it. In the past, Earth was a minor player in the galactic arena, struggling to accept its place. Yet before their very eyes, it had transformed into a significant force. Earth's ambassadors left the summit hall with silent dignity, maintaining a composed demeanor, amidst the chaos of trembling leaders and anxious glances. On the galactic stage, humanity was no longer a source of mockery, but a respected and possibly powerful force. Outside the summit's windows, human ships remained visible, a clear